Top 15 once loved wrestlers everyone now hates, and why?
If you are brand new to our channel, we invite you to take a moment to subscribe. Just click on the lit red button as well as the gray bell. Why the bell? Well, it will let you know every time we post a new video.
15.
AJ Lee. We don't hate her, just that we don't see her anymore. I know. You wouldn't expect AJ Lee to appear on a list about wrestlers who are now hated. I guess, to be fair, it's not so much that she went from loved to hated. It's more like she went from loved to incredibly missed, and then from missed to hated for not ever coming back. You see, AJ Lee is married to CM Punk, who is also a pretty damn popular wrestler. He walked away from the WWE because of how SHT the medical team was when dealing with him. Not to mention the poor training he saw being given to the new recruits. Anyway, while at the height of her career, Lee decided that, if her husband was leaving for the right reasons, then she had to support him. So, as long as they're together, it's not likely that you'll see AJ Lee back. So maybe we hate Punk?
14.
Kane, not the great wrestler he once was. I am not sure where to begin with Kane. I mean, he's changed a lot. Let's say that. Hell, he used to be heavy into hardcore matches. The good old days. He used to fight in Inferno matches with Taker. He also used to have a machine to help him speak, and had a full face mask, because he had been burned horribly as a child, according to his character story. This is the reason he couldn't talk. Once they gave him a match where he had to take off his mask, they should have invested in some burn makeup and kept up the storyline. Just throwing away such a pivotal storyline pissed everyone off. And now he's a chubby, partially masked Republican who is running for mayor in his municipality. Now, he's hated.
13.
Hulk Hogan. Where do we start? Well, it's not hard to hate Hulk Hogan nowadays, that's for sure. I never watched his naughty tape because I have better things to do with my life than scar my eyes and my brain for life. But the fact that he destroyed a site for publishing something that hardly hurt his career is a little pathetic. I mean, ever since Hogan went to work with WCW, he's been pretty slimy with business stuff. It might have something to do with Eric Bischoff, but who knows? Hogan used to be one of the biggest names in wrestling. Until Taker showed up in the ring, Hogan and Andre the Giant were the biggest deals. Even when he was in the NWO, Hogan wasn't all that bad. But he became a has-been a little too quickly, and he's got a lot of hate for it. 12. Bill Goldberg. We know the title run was just a money grab. You know, when Bill Goldberg hit the ring, well, it was in WCW, but he was still a kick-ass wrestler. He would wreck absolutely everyone. And when he hit WWE, he did a pretty damn good job too. It actually wasn't until very recently that he started building a bunch of hate. You see, Goldberg retired a while ago and people were happy with the arc of his career. But then he came back for one more title run, so he could kick Lesnar's ass. As much fun as it was to watch Goldberg beat Lesnar in under 2 minutes, twice. But the whole title run was just a complete money grab and a ridiculous arc. It was nice that he could show his family he still got it before finally getting his ass kicked one last time. But I think he lost a lot of fans along the way.
11.
Shawn Michaels. We want a wrestler, not a preacher. You know, it might actually piss some people off when I say that Shawn Michaels is now hated. But those people are some pretty hardcore fans either from Texas, from church, or from 30 years ago. Either way, Shawn Michaels was an electrifying superstar in the WWE for a long time. The first thing that really started to get him hated was the Montreal screw job. This is when he screwed Bret Hart out of his last title before he left the company. That made a lot of Canadians hate him. Then, after Michaels started passing his sell-by date, he stayed around anyway, and that caused more people to either hate him or get bored by him. Then, once he found Jesus, a lot of people just didn't want to listen to all
10.
10. Nikki Bella, John Cena. Really? Alright, to be fair, a lot of people hated Nikki Bella from the beginning, and just didn't mind watching her wrestle because she's hot, even though Brie Bella is the hotter twin, and the one who has fewer fake parts. But Nikki just had to go and do something. Besides doing the stupid shows Total Divas and Total Bellas, Nikki also went and started dating everyone's least favorite wrestler, John Cena. And not only that, but at WrestleMania last year, Cena proposed to her, and she said yes. Now, she's joined to Cena she's very much connected to him. And because of that and her other antics, she has become one of the least liked divas. It also doesn't help that she's off for a while, so she can start
9.
9. Brock Lesnar. You'd think he'd know how to avoid hurting his opponents by now. I know this isn't just me, but I have to be totally honest here. I have a special hatred for Brock Lesnar somewhere deep in my cold heart. He is just an awful human being. That's pretty well all there is to it. Coming from UFC, he doesn't really know how to wrestle. He hurts people everywhere he goes. He has some of the biggest matches now, but they are also some of the highest matches in the history of WWE, aside from the 2 times that Goldberg wasted him in under 2 min. The Beast used to be liked, because there was something cool about a guy coming from UFC who was huge, and could just break people so thoroughly, but once people discovered that he actually broke people, well, FCK him.
8.
8. Lita. It all went downhill when she cheated on Matt Hardy. Lita was one of the hottest wrestlers back in the Attitude Era. She was the main attraction of the Hardy Boys. No one really cared what Jeff and Matt were up to. When they came out, people just hoped that Lita would too. And she could wrestle. Of course, she started cheating on her particular Hardy Boy with Canada's own Edge. Well, that pissed a lot of fans off who really did like the Hardys. She went downhill pretty quickly after that. Not to mention the fact that she was then given some pretty SHT storylines. Like that one where she was assaulted by, and then married to Kane. I mean, what the FCK? People really started hating seeing her around after all of this stuff. And can you really blame them? I don't.
7.
7. The Big Show. So much crying. This guy used to be a monster when he debuted sometime in the Attitude Era. He had long hair and he really just seemed like a giant 7-foot redneck trucker. He was pretty cool. And he could obliterate anyone. He was a huge fan favorite, pun intended. Sure, sometimes he had some pretty silly storylines, but he was generally liked. I know this might seem mean, but once Stephanie McMahon got him to cry for the first time, or maybe Vince did it the first time, people definitely started to lose interest. After a few more episodes of tears, he just seemed to show up to blubber every so often, and people started to hate having him around. He was just a giant buzzkill.
6.
6. Natalya Neidhart. No one can take her seriously after all the flatulence. You see, Natalya might actually be one of the most talented female wrestlers in the business right now. Hell, she might be one of the most talented wrestlers right now, period. When she made it to the big ring in WWE, she was loved by all, because of her sort of removed relation to Bret the Hitman Hart. She pretty well had everything handed to her at the start, which is funny. because she now feuds with Charlotte Flair and says that she's been given everything. Anyway, Natty had some pretty bad storylines that just made no one take her seriously. Something to do with her being in a serious moment and then farting at the very wrong time. That was a storyline. She would fart in serious moments, and now everyone hates her.
5.
5. Biggie Langston, why would you join the New Day? Biggie just makes me want to sigh. He kills me. He probably would kill me if he read this write-up. But look, Biggie was pretty cool when he was Dolph Ziggler's bodyguard. AJ Lee was always being carried by him because she was Dolph's kayfabe girlfriend at the time. This was back when Langston was stone-faced and just deadly. But then, he decided to join up with the New Day, everyone's least favorite tag team. I have to be fair to Langston here. At least he can express himself in all sorts of crazy ways now. But I have to also be honest and say that I think his character now is just completely f***ing ridiculous. I know I'm not alone in thinking that.
4.
4. John Cena, just because. Oh, here he is. The master of being completely hated by so many fans in the WWE universe. Do you own Cena? Do you remember a time when people like John Cena? You know why you can't recall too well? It's because the WWE wants you to forget. He used to be a villain. He used to be a really SHT rapper who was actually a heel. For those of you not familiar with the wrestling lingo, that means he was actually a bad guy. But now, he's all sorts of babyface, good guy, and everyone hates him. Well, okay, not everyone. A lot of kids think he's the best, because he's such a good guy, and some military people really like him, because he has played the Marine, but everyone else hates him.
3.
3. Roman Reigns, he tried too hard. When Roman Reigns first started out his WWE career, people thought he was a real powerhouse. He was the leader of The Shield, other members being Dean Ambrose and Seth freaking Rollins. He was jacked, and could really take a guy out with a spear. He seemed to spear even better than Goldberg for a time. But, of course, The Shield broke up at some point, and Roman was sent out on his own. He was no longer a corporate hitman. He became a good guy. And he remained a good guy for so bloody long. The Shield is back together now, but Roman spent so much time trying to be so good that everyone just started hating him. Every time it looked like he might go bad again, he stayed good. He got worse than hated, he got boring.
2.
2. Triple H, his corporate side sucks. Triple H, when he first started out, wasn't exactly all that great. He came out in pretty robes as Hunter Hearst Helmsley. He was alright, but he didn't get near as much of a cheer as when he joined up with Shawn Michaels and formed DX as Triple H. He was one of the best parts of the Attitude Era, hands down. He took a break from fighting, though, to get married to Stephanie McMahon and become corporate Triple H. He took a very long break from wrestling. And while he is back fighting again now, he became really boring and really toned down. Sure, he likes to try and reign as the King of Kings, but all he's ended up doing is lose his awesome attitude and replace it with too much of a business-oriented character. Everyone is meant to hate him, and most people do.
1.
1. Randy Orton, people are bored. You know what? I think that Randy Orton is only hated now because he's still just around and not really doing anything exciting. He is part of some incredible wrestling history. Aside from his own personal achievements, his family connection in the WWE has been very important to him. When he arrived, he was the Viper and was a pretty cool character. He was good at messing with people's heads, and that made for some exciting TV. But now, he's still just the exact same character. If Kane or Undertaker stay the exact same as when they debuted, that would probably be okay. But Randy Orton's character isn't exciting enough to hold for that many years. Without change, he has become hated. But he still has time to change.
Yeah.